Welcome to Chalhoub Group's podcast series. Today, the focus of our episode will be on customer engagement. My name is Carla Daaboul, and I'm head of member experiences and private client relationships within the MUSE loyalty program of the group. And with me today are two lovely lady colleagues of mine, Nida and Ilaria, who are very much involved in the customer engagement conversation and play a big part in it within the group. Nida, may I ask you to tell us a little bit about what you do?
Thank you. So I head up MUSE, which is the group loyalty program for Chalhoub Group. And part of my remit is looking after customer engagement. How do we delight our customers across the group, wherever they're shopping, online, offline, and creating that sort of stickiness, retention, and loyalty. So it's about the data, it's about the engagement and the relationships that we nurture.
Lovely, exciting stuff. And Ilaria, may I ask you?
Hi, Carla. Yes, so I have the pleasure of leading the group CX customer experience. And I joined Chalhoub almost 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I'm very proud of having built from scratch the CX program for Chalhoub, trying to lead the transformation and transforming our group into a customer-centric entity.
Wonderful. So, ladies, I'd like to start off with the first question, burning question on my mind. So we've heard a lot about the consumer changing. We've heard statements saying, the consumer has changed forever and there's a new normal. So what is your perspective on that? Has the consumer really changed for good? And how do we react to that?
I think, if I may, I think we're sick of the statement as well. I think we've been hearing the statement of customer changed forever.
The new normal.
Exactly. The new norm is, the buzzword of the moment of the past few months and weeks. In full honesty, I think that nobody has a crystal ball. I think that what we can see and what we can acknowledge is that definitely there are certain changes in consumer behavior, like new categories that we're using now, like comfy clothes or a skincare routine. But there are other changes that perhaps eventually will stay longer, like the online shopping, using cashless payments, digital payments. But if you ask me, are those changes staying there forever? I don't think we have the answer. I think that the fact that people want to go out to look at products, to touch, to feel, this will stay forever. And especially if you are buying luxury stuff.
Yeah, sort of more like the human connection is more
Precisely.
than ever now still permanent in our lives. And I'm curious to know what have our brands done well with their e-com journey with their members? What can we really single out from what's been done during the past period that we can really relate to or say that those were the right strategies and we'd like to share them with others?
Look, I think that with the COVID situation, definitely there was an acceleration with e-com and digital. I believe that the brands who got it right were the ones not considering online and offline as two separate channels. Are the ones looking at this omni-channel, and actually now the new buzzword is mono-channel. So we live in a mono-channel world, right? So whoever is looking at the whole experience from the start until the end as one single experience, giving the customer all the steps, whether you want to go to the store, whether you want to go online, this is where brands are winning.
A sort of unified channel.
Precisely. Now, if we have to say what are some practical tips or learnings that we got from brands that did it well, I think we have four. Definitely the first one which comes to my mind is a great last mile experience.
Okay.
Because when we were all staying at home and we're now buying more online, we want things to get delivered fast. We want the same day delivery. We want 2 to 4 hour delivery, right?
Yeah.
So we we kind of tend to buy from platforms who are giving us that option to fulfill our impatient, impulsive shopping behavior.
Yes.
The second one, I would say, is the digital payments. So having, you know, all those options available, that buy now, pay later, or the Apple Pay, etc., etc. I think great user experience is also very important. Was also very important, and this encompasses many things. It can encompasses the visuals that you have online. So not just having a picture of the lipstick or a picture of the bag, but having, you know, someone wearing the bag, someone wearing the lipstick, so you can relate to the picture. You can, you know, get inspired from the picture. Having storytelling on our e-commerce, having the right checkouts and seamless, smooth checkout process. The last thing I would say, and it goes back to what you were saying 1 minute ago, is the human touch. I believe that the brands who got it right were the ones where e-commerce was amplified by the human touch, whether it is through our store associates who were, you know, pushing, not sales pushing, but they kept this connection with the customers, and they were assisting customers when buying online. But also, I believe it was through all the marketing initiatives to build the sense of belonging, the community, and the storytelling. So yeah, I think
I mean, all the brands, you know, when you said what did we do right, I think plotting that customer journey very early on to know where can you elevate that experience before and the during and the after, because each moment matters, right? If that returns process is cumbersome, you've lost a customer there, and you know, you can gain loyalty in negative touch points and convert that into a positive experience, and that's going to get them to come back again and again. So I think one of the good things that Ilaria and her team and, you know, the brands did as well was just really identifying where in those touch points can we elevate the experience so that we, you know, get the customers to come back and shop with us again and again.
So true, so true. And Nida, on that topic, we've seen that members, you know, there's so many options out there. There's so much, you know, like journeys that are perfected by other brands. How does a brand really rise above the noise out there and create a sort of their own ecosystem of experience that'll increase that member loyalty that they so much crave to have?
I think that's a great question, and especially in today's world, in today's cluttered world, it is very hard. You know, I often get asked this question saying, why should I invest in loyalty when I can invest that in performance marketing and just, you know, double my sales, right? But I don't think it's one or the other today. I think all of it has to be played in the right mix to make sure that you are playing a part in your customer's journey wherever they are, because customers are researching things online, they're more informed,
100%.
They know what they want. So where can you as a brand play across those different touch points to identify that? So I think, you know, my advice or my recommendation would be to really define the what, you know, the what is your offering? How are you going to, you know, what is it that you're offering that is different from your competitors out there? What is your unique selling point? You know, how can you actually deliver that message in a really concise way? You know, people have attention is scarce, time is short. So can convey that message in 6 seconds, you know, make sure that your proposition comes out clearly. And only then can you sort of like really cut through that noise. Like there's so many different levers that are coming to play that it's not one or the other. You've got to really define the what, the who you're appealing to as well. You can't be one size fits all. Like you need to understand who your segments are, how you're positioning to them. And then it's really the how, which is down to the communication. What is your offering? You know, what are you providing that will create that sort of stickiness? Why should they choose you over someone else? So these are important questions to be answered. And unfortunately, in today's cluttered world, there isn't a one answer or not, but being very open to auditing yourself and removing that bias and not, you know, like, and I think as brand marketers and stuff, we're very biased. Like we want to protect what we've created. So stay away from that and like keep an objective view and look at it and see, okay, what can I do better? Because there's always something better we can do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very, very true. Very,
And
very good advice.
sorry, to build on what Nida is saying, I think that's also the ability to adapt, because this is something that is evolving so fast, and it doesn't, have to stay like this throughout the years, but we need to adapt. Brands need to adapt very quickly now.
Yes,
And as long as you have a good brand purpose that, you can communicate and customers can relate to, I think this is where success comes from.
Yeah, true. I often say keep your eyes on the road, but keep your ears on the ground. So kind of keeping that balance is so key in today's world. So Ilaria, I'd like to ask you, and I know that you've been involved in these conversations, what about the store of the future? How will that store of the future really look like?
So we have 30 minutes to answer this.
Are we good on time? If we're good on time, then we want to hear all about it.
So jokes aside, I think that we're looking at the store still in a very traditional way. I think that in some cases, we're looking at the stores still as a distribution and sales channel. But I believe that nowadays we should look at the stores as marketing hubs, as service hubs, as community hubs, right? So the store nowadays is your marketing vehicle. So it's how you communicate what the brand wants, to communicate the purpose. It's where you can have this immersive experience, and you can have all the services, when you can interact with the products, but you can interact with the people as well. So where you can build this long-lasting relationship with the store associates, with the clientele, and I believe that because we're still looking at the store as a distribution channel, we also are measuring the performance and the success of the store in a very old-fashioned way, which is productivity per square meter. But actually, I believe that the way we're looking at the stores and the way we're measuring success of the stores should be changed to reflect that new reality.
What kind of metrics are we looking at going forward?
Look, I think we should definitely look at, the satisfaction of our customers, whether they're coming back or not to our stores, the ability of our people to clientele.
Okay.
So I believe those are really, the new KPIs we should look at. And I believe that are not only KPIs for, let's say, to measure success of the stores, but there is a consequence on the new role of the store staff as well.
Okay.
So within this new, let's say, ecosystem and sort of the future, which is hybrid, which is omnichannel, where you can, buy online and pick up in store, you have digital services and so on. What is the role of the store associate? It's not the traditional way of doing, clientele. So what is the new way of doing clientele?
Right.
And how in this digital world they can deliver, an excellent experience in the store.
I hear a lot in the background in my head. Empowerment to the frontliners will probably be one big shift that our new stores will be moving towards. Thank you so much.
In many ways, it's actually going back to the basics, right? Like it's really building that connection. And if I go to a store, I'm expecting a certain level of expertise as well. Like, if I've been able to research and know about the product, the craftsmanship, what's gone in, I'm expecting that level of advice as well. So we've got to move away from the fact that it has to be that pushy or sale mentality, but advise somebody on it, or give them styling tips and try and elevate that experience. And it's often the small things that matter, someone told you that looks great and you'll be like, okay, yeah, maybe I want that,
It's so true. They strike an empathetic approach, and they've got your attention. So many times I've seen myself divert completely when somebody's tried to
hard sell.
Hard sell.
I say no.
No, me too.
No, thank you. And you can see it. It's no, not you.
I'd actually like to, to speak about one last point, which is something very close to my heart: the experience economy. Actually,
I should be asking you this question.
And actually, it was, it's a term coined 22 years ago, and I thought it was pretty recent until I read up more on the subject matter. So the experience economy is where, you know, brands look to make memorable events out of their activations, and that approach kind of led a more emotional connection, which ultimately led to loyalty.
Yeah.
Now, is that still the era of the experience economy?
Yeah.
Is my
crystal
question.
ball. But I'll answer that question, and I think I'm just going to go back to one of your earlier questions as well about have our customers changed and has everything changed forever. I think, like Ilaria said, it's hard to predict into this thing, whether our customers have changed, but surely there have been new habits that have formed thanks to COVID. But even before COVID, we were getting to a time where everything was rushed and, you know, time was less, and like we were stressed as a generation. So, and that's probably been amplified more in the last 12 months.
So
but
true, yeah.
Yes, the customers are savvy, they're intelligent, they're impatient, they want more, the expectations are high. So those things have changed. And if anything, that expectation has become a lot more in the last, 12 months, really. But that doesn't mean we're not going to go back to the basics. Like, you know, once travel's open, once, you know, we live in this COVID-free world, if we do ever, like people are wanting to go back to what they did. Like they'd want to travel, they'd want to go to a concert, they'd want to be around people. So and then moving on to the experiences economy question, I think that word or experiences had become too overly commoditized. Like I still believe people are craving experiences, but maybe that is going to like change into something more authentic where you can connect, because we've been left for like 12 months craving connection. Like, you know, this is amazing that we're sitting together and having this conversation. So we've been craving for a human connection, and we've been craving that really authentic, meaningful experience, right? So
I'm definitely enjoying this one.
So I do believe that we will proceed along the similar lines, but time will be a huge factor into this. How digital experiences will evolve, which is around convenience. You know, the fact that you can sit at home and you can watch a fashion show, you can watch a concert. I think that module will evolve and get more sophisticated, and people will appreciate that a lot more. I believe we're entering like a transformation economy, which is not just about the experiences and, oh, here's the coolest place I went to and I checked in to this latest restaurant, but it's really what did you do for yourself and how did you influence others around you. So, you're seeing a lot of, I don't want to sound woke, but like you're seeing a lot of like movements around this. But generally, I think people have this desire to get better, be a better human being, and to cope and to invest in yourself, like be that learning, be that mindfulness, be that whatever self-love like that you do. And those things will continue because I think we disregarded it for too long. And that even back to the environment, whether that's, sustainability or just being conscious as a consumer as well, like, like rather than hoard, it's more like, how do I buy something that is a statement piece that I can pass on and, has some legacy and has a beautiful story around it. So yes, I think the experiences economy will evolve, but it'll evolve into something which is a lot more purpose-driven, a lot more authentic, a lot more human connection. And I believe that should trickle down to how we operate as a business as well, how we engage with our customers in person, how we offer things online, how we create our content. And so, yeah, I think it's a full package.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much, Nida. On that note, transformational economy is a very interesting perspective to consider going forward. Thank you very much for your contribution today. And Ilaria, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this episode's focus on customer engagement. And going forward, we'll be bringing you more topics on this particular stream, from clienteling to voice of the customer to building meaningful relationships or connections with your customers. Have a lovely day.